4 people I'd personally walked through their first year sat around the conference table, all with new titles glowing on the slide behind my supervisor. My name wasn't on the slide, theirs were. "Before we wrap," Stanley Cooper said, smiling toward the VP at the end of the room, "I want to highlight some exciting internal promotions." I already knew what was coming. The announcement email had gone out that morning, but it hits differently when you hear it said out loud in a room where half the people present had once called me at midnight asking, "Hey, sorry to bother you, but can you walk me through that confined space protocol again?" "First," he continued, "we're recognizing Howard Walsh as Senior Operations Lead. He's done an incredible job ramping up on the new EPA compliance procedures and has shown outstanding leadership potential." Polite claps. Howard avoided looking at me. I remembered sitting with him for 2 months last year, going through every EPA reporting requirement line by line because he kept mixing up hazardous waste classifications. Second, congratulations to Norman Price, promoted to production manager for the B-shift operations. More claps. I'd spent 3 months sitting with Norman every morning at 6 a.m. before anyone else arrived, walking him through the safety matrices until he could recite them from memory. Norman, who used to panic whenever we had a state inspection because he couldn't remember which documentation went where. Third, we're pleased to announce that Ralph Martinez is now Senior Analyst for Quality Assurance. Ralph, who 6 months ago was asking me, "Is there a simple way to remember the difference between reportable incidents and near misses?" Now he was getting promoted to analyze the very data I'd taught him how to classify. "And finally," Stanley said, his voice taking on that tone managers use when they think they're delivering especially good news, "we're elevating Patricia Evans to Plant Safety Manager." My chest got tight. Plant Safety Manager. The position I'd been doing unofficially for 15 years without the title or the pay. I was still Senior Manufacturing Engineer on paper, but every new hire in safety operations had ended up learning from me. My name was scribbled onto every onboarding plan under shadow assignment. "Patricia will be stepping into a formal leadership role for our safety operations," Stanley added. "She's been an informal leader for some time, and this title recognizes the reality of her contributions." Polite laughter, more claps. I clapped too, because what else do you do in that moment? Stand up and say, "Actually, I've been the informal leader of plant safety since before half these people were hired"? You don't. You clap. You smile. You file the moment away in your mental archive labeled "Reasons I Need 3 Beers Tonight." My name is Gerald Thompson. I'm 49 years old, and I've been working at Consolidated Auto Parts for 15 years. I've never had a management title. I don't post inspirational quotes on LinkedIn. Nobody at safety conferences knows my name. I'm the guy who sits in the back during all-hands meetings, listening for the phrases that will eventually become my headache. We make brake components and suspension parts here. When your car stops without killing you or your family, there's a decent chance one of our parts quietly did its job. My responsibility for the last decade and a half has been making sure nobody gets hurt while making those parts. It sounds simple. It's not. We handle everything from OSHA regulations to EPA compliance, from confined space entry procedures to chemical handling protocols. When something goes wrong, machine malfunction, worker injury, surprise inspection, I'm one of the people who figures out what happened and how to prevent it next time. My official title is Senior Manufacturing Engineer, which tells you nothing about what I actually do. Unofficially, I'm the person new hires shadow when they start in safety operations. I'm the one production managers call when they hear words like liability exposure or regulatory compliance. I'm the guy people text at odd hours with questions like, "Does this chemical spill count as a reportable incident?" The work matters. For a long time, I believed that would be enough. I joined Consolidated when it was still family-owned, small enough that the founder knew everyone's birthday, and big enough that we had real contracts with major automakers. Our safety program back then was a disaster. 3-ring binders full of outdated procedures, inconsistent documentation, and guidelines written by someone who'd apparently left in the middle of a sentence. My first week, the plant manager dropped a thick binder on my desk. "This is supposed to be our safety program," he said. "Good luck making sense of it." He wasn't exaggerating. For my first year, I did 2 things religiously. I watched how things actually worked on the floor, and I documented everything like my job depended on it, because it probably did. I traced workflows from receiving dock through every production line to shipping, identifying every point where someone could get injured. I sat in on accident investigations even when nobody asked me to, because I learned that every incident was a free education in what could go wrong. Our plant employed about 180 people across 3 shifts, operating stamping presses, welding stations, and assembly lines that could remove fingers faster than you could blink. The machinery was loud, heavy, and unforgiving. Workers handled chemicals that could burn skin or damage lungs if misused. We had overhead cranes moving multi-ton loads, forklifts weaving through tight spaces, and enough stored energy in our hydraulic systems to crush a car. The stakes were real. One mistake could mean someone's husband doesn't come home for dinner, someone's dad misses their kid's graduation because he's in the hospital, or someone's son starts their career with a permanent disability. That reality shaped how I approached everything. Then I started doing the thing that eventually came back to bite me. I documented everything. At first, it was just for survival. I kept a spiral notebook in my shirt pocket, jotting down which valve controlled what, where the emergency stops were located, what the warning signs looked like before equipment failed, basic stuff that should have been written down somewhere but wasn't. Then a coworker asked me, "Hey Gerald, do you have that thing you sketched about the lockout sequence for press number 3? That actually made sense, unlike the manual." So I cleaned it up and put it in a shared folder on our computer network. Nothing fancy, just a document called Press Number 3 Lockout, step by step with some hand-drawn diagrams and notes in plain English instead of technical jargon. That first guide got maybe 5 views. Then we had an incident that changed everything. A contractor working on our main stamping line skipped 2 steps in the energy isolation procedure. The machine cycled while he was reaching inside the guard. His hand got crushed, not just broken, crushed. Emergency room, surgery, workers' compensation claim, and an OSHA inspector who spent 3 days crawling through our procedures looking for violations. During the investigation conference call, people were scrambling for answers. I already had them. I pulled up my notes, walked the inspector through the correct lockout sequence step by step, and identified exactly which procedures the contractor had skipped and why our official documentation hadn't prevented it. We avoided a $35,000 citation. The plant manager called me afterward. "Can you turn what you just explained into something official?" I spent the weekend writing a complete lockout-tagout procedure with photographs, checklists, and explanations of why each step mattered. That document got copied to every workstation within a month. Word spread. The next time someone was confused about our chemical storage requirements, they asked me to write it up. When new EPA regulations came out, I translated them into procedures our people could actually follow. Pretty soon, I was the guy who wrote clear instructions about dangerous things. It wasn't in my job description, but it kept people safe, so I kept doing it. The first time I trained someone completely from scratch, it felt like building a safer workplace one person at a time. His name was Barry Johnson, 22 years old, fresh out of trade school, eager to learn, terrified of screwing up. We spent 4 months together. At first, he'd text me constantly. "Is that noise normal? Where do I find the material safety data sheets? What does this alarm mean?" I never got annoyed. I remembered what it felt like to be thrown into a dangerous environment and told to figure it out. Barry was a quick learner. By his 6-month review, he could run safety inspections better than people who'd been there for years. My supervisor noticed. "You did great work with Barry," Stanley said during my annual review. "Not everyone can develop people that fast." "Thanks," I said, feeling pretty good about it. "You've got a real talent for teaching," he added. "That's going to be valuable as we grow and add more management layers." That was the first hint anyone had given me about moving up. I started thinking maybe all this extra work would pay off eventually. When the next new hire joined our safety team, I volunteered to train them. Then the next one. For the next 12 years, every person who started in safety operations worked with me for their first few months. I didn't ask for additional pay or a different title. I just did the work because it mattered. My personal life during those years was getting more complicated and expensive. I got divorced in 2019, which meant $2,200 a month in alimony plus child support for my daughter Emma. She started at Penn State that same year, $47,000 annually for tuition, room, and board. My 401k had about $220,000 in it after 15 years of contributing, which sounds substantial until you realize I need to retire in 16 years, and healthcare costs keep climbing. My back was starting to hurt from decades on concrete floors, and my doctor wanted to put me on blood pressure medication. "You need to manage your stress better," he told me during my last physical. "Your numbers are creeping up." Easy for him to say. He wasn't juggling alimony payments, college tuition, and a job where people's safety depended on him knowing things that weren't written down anywhere official. The first time I got passed over for promotion, I almost understood it. They created a safety coordinator position and interviewed 3 of us. They picked someone from our quality assurance department who had more experience with ISO standards and regulatory audits. "Your time will come," Stanley assured me. "I need you right where you are. You're the backbone of our safety program." Being called the backbone sounded like a compliment until I realized it meant being the part everyone assumed would keep working regardless of how much weight they piled on top. The second time stung worse. They created a senior safety specialist role with some supervisory responsibilities. By then, I'd trained 8 people from scratch. I owned most of the safety procedures in our database. When state inspectors showed up, Stanley would check with me before answering their questions. I didn't even need to apply. I assumed it was mine. They gave it to someone from our sister plant in Ohio who had better connections with corporate management. "Be patient," Stanley said. "You're on the list for next time. Sometimes the timing just doesn't work out." I wanted to believe him. The third time, patience became harder to maintain. We had an opening for plant safety manager when our previous manager took early retirement. I'd been doing 80% of that job unofficially for years. The description could have been copy-pasted from my daily responsibilities. I interviewed well. I walked them through the training programs I'd built, the documentation I'd created, the incident response procedures I'd designed. They seemed impressed with my knowledge and experience. 2 weeks later, they announced Patricia Evans got the job. Patricia, who I'd trained 2 years earlier. Patricia, who still asked me questions like, "When we have a chemical spill, does that automatically require OSHA reporting?" Stanley called me 30 minutes before the promotion announcement went out. "I wanted you to hear this from me first," he said. "Okay," I replied, though I already knew from his tone what was coming. This wasn't an easy decision. You and Patricia both had strong cases. Sure. In the end, leadership wanted someone with different energy. You're incredibly solid, Gerald. Dependable. But Patricia's more visible. She speaks up in meetings. She pushes for resources. You're saying I don't advocate for things? I'm saying you tend to just handle problems quietly. You're so reliable that sometimes people forget how much you're actually managing. He meant it as a compliment. It felt like being told I was too good at my job to get promoted. "Be patient," he added. "Your turn is coming." 4th time I'd heard that exact phrase in 6 years. I was 49 years old. How much patience was I supposed to have left? That evening, I sat at my kitchen table after Emma had gone to bed. She was home from college for spring break, staring at my laptop with our safety database open. There was a folder I'd created called Plant Safety Training Materials. Over 8 years, it had become the foundation of everything we did. Click through that folder and you could find everything. Confined space entry procedures with step-by-step photos, chemical handling protocols for every substance we used, emergency response plans for a dozen different scenarios, incident investigation templates that actually worked. Most of those documents showed my name as the author. Most had been updated within the last 6 months based on new regulations or lessons learned from near misses. I clicked on one randomly. Our lockout-tagout procedure with detailed photographs and a note at the end that said, "Your family wants you home safe tonight." The access log showed 847 views. 847 times someone had opened that document instead of calling me at odd hours with questions. I thought about the people I'd trained. 4 of them had just gotten promoted ahead of me. I thought about all the times I'd heard, "We couldn't do this without you," Gerald followed by, "We need you right where you are." I thought about Emma's tuition bill. $23,500 due in 6 weeks for fall semester. That night, a thought I'd been avoiding finally crystallized. What if my competence was actually the problem? What if by making everything so smooth, so documented, so foolproof, I'd made my expertise invisible to the people making promotion decisions? The documentation stopped feeling like an asset and started feeling like a prison. 3 weeks after Patricia's promotion announcement, I made a decision that would change everything. I opened our safety database, navigated to the training materials folder, and looked at 15 years of unpaid overtime condensed into procedures, checklists, and guides. I selected everything and copied it to a personal drive. Then I deleted it from the shared network. No dramatic announcement, no angry email. The database just became a little emptier, like a library where entire sections had quietly vanished overnight. Then I changed how I approached my job. I started answering only the questions that actually fell within my official job description. When someone messaged me with quick safety question, I began responding with, "Did you check the official corporate procedures?" and linking to our generic safety manual, not my detailed guides that no longer existed. If they said I liked your version better, I replied, "Those were unofficial documents. I've retired them to focus on my core responsibilities." When someone asked me to hop on a quick call to walk through something, I checked the urgency first. If it wasn't an actual emergency, I directed them to their supervisor or suggested they review the standard documentation. I stopped joining incident investigation calls unless I was specifically assigned. I stopped proofreading other people's reports to management. I stopped letting "I don't want to see them struggle" override. It's reasonable to expect adults to follow written procedures. It took about a week before people noticed something was different. "Hey," Ralph texted in our group chat, "did the lockout procedure document get moved? I'm getting an error when I try to open it." "Which one?" Patricia responded. "The detailed one," Gerald wrote, "the one with all the photos and explanations." "Probably a server issue," someone else suggested. "I'll ask IT to look into it." There was nothing for IT to restore. By the end of the second week, there was a quiet undercurrent of frustration spreading through the safety team. Tasks that used to take 20 minutes were taking an hour. Questions that used to have quick answers required research. "I swear there used to be a guide for this" became a common complaint. I didn't volunteer explanations. I did my assigned work. When something landed in my official queue, it got done correctly and on time. But no more invisible labor. No more above and beyond efforts that apparently weren't worth recognizing in promotion decisions. The cracks started small. A procedure done incorrectly here, a safety check overlooked there. Nothing immediately dangerous, just enough to make our metrics look less pristine than usual. Patricia tried to approach me during the third week. She stopped by my workstation after the morning safety briefing, looking uncomfortable. "Gerald," she said, "I know things are awkward after the promotion. I wanted to say I wouldn't have gotten here without your training." "You earned it," I replied automatically, not looking up from my paperwork. "I know you probably think—" "Patricia," I interrupted, "congratulations on the promotion. You'll do fine. But the documentation issues people are having." "What documentation issues?" She hesitated. "People are saying some of the safety guides aren't available anymore." "The official corporate procedures are still there," I said. "Those are the ones that actually matter." "Yeah, but your versions were more detailed, more practical. My versions were unofficial." Personal notes. I decided to focus on my assigned duties instead of maintaining unofficial documentation. She stood there for another moment, then nodded and walked away. I could see her checking her phone as she headed back to her new office, probably texting Stanley about the conversation. But I was done being the unpaid safety consultant who made everyone else's job easier while my own career stayed frozen. The expertise they'd been getting for free was about to become a lot more expensive. What happened next proved just how expensive it would be. The incident that changed everything happened on a Tuesday morning in October. Our newest production line was running a big order for Ford, brake rotors, high volume, tight deadline. A maintenance tech named Terry Williams was servicing one of the stamping presses during a scheduled maintenance window. In the old world, meaning 4 weeks earlier, Terry would have sent me a message. "Hey Gerald, quick question about the press service procedure. Step 6 is confusing me." I would have pulled up my detailed guide titled Stamping Press Maintenance, Complete Safety Protocol, walked him through the hydraulic pressure release sequence, and reminded him about the secondary safety lock that wasn't obvious from reading the generic corporate manual. This time, Terry looked at the official procedure, which was bare bones and assumed knowledge nobody had bothered to document officially. He followed every step exactly as written. The problem was that the written procedure was incomplete. He missed the secondary lock position. When he reached inside the press to clear a parts jam, the hydraulic system engaged. The machine didn't cycle completely, thank God, but it caught his arm between the die and the press bed. Compound fracture in 2 places, emergency surgery, 8 weeks of workers' compensation, and an OSHA investigation that lasted 3 months. The sound Terry made when it happened, I heard it from across the plant floor. It's a sound you don't forget. In the incident review meeting, the pattern became ugly and obvious. Terry had followed the official corporate procedure to the letter. Every step. He'd done nothing wrong according to the documentation he'd been given. The problem was that the official documentation was garbage compared to what people had been using for years. The detailed steps that would have prevented the accident existed, but they'd been in my unofficial guides that were now sitting on my personal laptop. Our VP, Linda Foster, flew in from corporate for the investigation. She never came to plant level unless something had gone seriously sideways. I keep hearing about missing safety procedures, she said during the formal review. Gerald, multiple people mentioned you maintained more comprehensive documentation. Where are those materials? The OSHA inspector was taking notes. Patricia was sitting 3 seats away from me, looking like she wanted to disappear. I maintained supplementary training materials, I said carefully. Those were personal reference documents, not official procedures. Could we review them? The inspector asked. I'd need to evaluate what I have available, I replied. After the meeting, Patricia cornered me in the hallway. She looked exhausted, like she hadn't slept since the accident. Gerald, Terry's injury. If we'd had your lockout procedure guide, this wouldn't have happened. We had the official corporate procedure, I said. You know what I mean. Your version was complete. It covered everything. That version took me 20 hours to write and 6 months to refine based on real incidents, I said. I did that work on my own time because I thought it mattered. Apparently, it was never official enough to factor into promotion decisions. She was quiet for a long moment. This isn't about promotions anymore. No, I agreed. It's about someone getting hurt because the knowledge that could have protected him was sitting unused on my personal computer instead of being valued enough to maintain properly. The OSHA fine was $54,000. Terry's workers' compensation claim cost another $120,000. Our safety rating dropped, which affected our insurance premiums and our eligibility for certain automotive contracts. But the real damage was reputational. Ford's safety auditors started asking pointed questions during their next supplier review. Your incident rates used to be exemplary. What changed in your safety program? 2 months after Terry's accident, Linda Foster called me into a meeting room I'd never been in before. It wasn't just her and Stanley this time. HR was there, the plant manager, and someone from corporate I didn't recognize. Gerald, Linda started, we need to have a frank conversation about what's been happening. I waited. The last few months have exposed significant gaps in our safety documentation and training. We're seeing longer response times to safety questions, more procedural mistakes, and obviously the Terry Williams situation. That was a maintenance procedure failure, I said. A maintenance procedure that you had documented correctly in your personal files, but that we couldn't access when we needed it. I could have destroyed them right there. Could have said, because you promoted 4 people I trained ahead of me while telling me to be patient for 6 years. Instead, I stayed professional. I maintained supplementary documentation because the official procedures were incomplete. When the company decided that supplementary work wasn't worth recognizing, I stopped supplementing. Linda rubbed her temples. You've created a serious problem for us. I've stopped doing unpaid work, I replied. That shouldn't create problems unless the system was depending on unpaid work to function safely. Silence around the table. Look, she finally said, I'll be direct. We made errors in how we managed your career development. You should have been promoted years ago. Should have been, I repeated. I can't change the past, but I can ask what it would take to move forward. Are you asking what it would take for me to start doing free documentation and training again? Or what it would take for me to trust that this company values expertise over politics? Both, she admitted. Then those might require different solutions. 3 weeks later, they presented their offer. Principal Safety Director, reporting directly to the plant manager. 50% hands-on safety work, 50% training and procedure development. Salary increase to $87,000 plus performance bonuses tied to safety metrics. This position didn't exist a month ago, I pointed out. No, Linda said, but it should have existed for years. You're creating this because my absence finally cost you money. We're creating it because we finally understand what we had, she replied, and what we almost lost. I took the job. At 49, with Emma's senior year approaching and my healthcare costs climbing, I couldn't afford to start over somewhere else, but I took it on my terms. 6 months later, I walk into work as someone whose job description finally matches what I'd been doing for 15 years. My expertise is treated like what it actually is, a business asset, not a personality quirk. If you're the person quietly keeping others safe through your knowledge, your training, your invisible work, learn from my experience. Don't wait until someone gets hurt to realize you've been undervalued. Document what you know. Decide what it's worth. And when someone says, your time is coming, ask them to define exactly what that means and when. If they can't give you specifics, they're not offering a plan. They're offering a sedative. your expertise has real value. You're allowed to insist that value shows up somewhere other than in other people's success stories. The moment you stop making yourself indispensable for free is the moment you discover what you're actually worth. And it's usually a lot more than what they were willing to pay when they thought you had no choice.